Hi, Melissa Clark here. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about getting your meat or your protein freezer ready. You can freeze meat whether it's raw or cooked, but raw meat is going to freeze a little better and it's going to last longer, about 3 to 6 months. First thing you need to do is when you get your meat home from the supermarket, take it out of the supermarket wrapper because this wrapper is probably not airtight. And then just rewrap it. You can put it in a little, freezer bag, or if you've got a vacuum sealer, that is perfect. Just vacuum seal it up. The best way to thaw frozen meat is overnight in the fridge, and it's gonna thaw faster if you put it in smaller packages. So just wrap, your chicken breasts or your hamburger patties or your steaks individually, and then they'll thaw pretty evenly. And here's a trick, I love this trick. If you want to marinate the meat while it's thawing, go right ahead. Just open up your bag and take whatever you want to marinate it with. Lemon, herbs, garlic, a little salt maybe. Throw it right in there. Let it sit in the fridge overnight, and then when you make the food the next day, it's going to taste amazing.
You know what I do? I have these little sheet pans, like these little mini ones, and I'll put this, when it's liquidy on it, stick it in the freezer, and then when it gets hard, I can take the pan out, and then I have even more room. Did you know that you can freeze dairy products?
No,
yes,
I didn't
you can.
Actually.
And one of the things I freeze my grated parm all the time. Not my good parm, not the good stuff, but the grated stuff that I'm going to use in cooking. And I'm going to add some of this parm that has been in the freezer right on top. I feel like this is the thing that people don't know. They know they can freeze meat. They know they can freeze vegetables, but you can freeze milk. You can freeze certain cheeses. You can actually freeze yogurt and cream cheese, especially if you're going to use them for cooking. And heavy cream. Also, heavy cream freezes really well because the high fat content allows it to stay together.
I would guess that for obvious reasons because of the fat content. Yep.
Exactly. The only thing that gets a little funky with freezing things like milk is that sometimes it separates, but I have a trick. Okay. So say that you've got some extra milk, you bought it on sale, you put it in your freezer, and you have defrosted it, and you notice it looks kind of curdly, even though it's not off, it's just separated, right? So what you do is you just put it in your blender, and you're gonna re-emulsify it. I'm just gonna turn this on for it's a really powerful blender. It might take you 10 seconds. It's gonna take me 2 seconds, and it's gonna be smooth and re-emulsified.
Cool.
And that is it. And then you can just go ahead and use it in your tea. Worst comes to worst, say that you try it and it still kind of looks, you're not sure, use it for baking.
Oh, great.
Okay, the one thing you absolutely cannot freeze in terms of cheese, hard cheeses do not freeze well. And while I was thinking about this segment, I was thinking, gee, what about triple crown? What about brie? Can you freeze brie? And I realized I'd never done it and I didn't know the answer. So Rachel, you and I are gonna experiment together. I have frozen this little brie, cute little brie, and I froze it and it's defrosted and I've let it come to room temperature and I'm going to taste it and we're going to see what it looks like.
I'm guessing yes. Again, fat content.
Oh, you are exactly right. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is.
Gorgeous.
It is smooth. It is gooey. Oh, really good.
Look at how excited Melissa is about experimenting with freezing of cheese. She's just adorable.
Okay, one more thing that you may not know you can freeze. Eggs. You can freeze eggs. You probably know you can freeze egg whites because people, talk about that. But you can freeze whole eggs, not in the shell. If you freeze eggs in the shell, it's just gonna burst. So not in the shell. But what you can do if you want to freeze whole eggs, so I just have a little container here. You just crack your egg and you put it in your container. Because again, same thing. What if you got some nice eggs and you got too many of them? And you can just freeze it and then you know that it's in there.
That's so great.
And what I also like to do is, this is a good trick. Take an ice cube tray, and you can do this for separating eggs. And you put the white in one space and the yolk in the other.
Yolk in the other.
Exactly. And then, so the white fits in there perfectly, and then the yolk. And then the other trick to the yolk, just add a little pinch of salt to the yolk and stir that up. And that way, you know that when you defrost it, it's going to be smooth. If you just freeze it without doing the salt trick, it kind of gets gelled. So the salt keeps things nice and liquid. And then when you've frozen them all, you can pop them out of the ice cube tray, put them in a heavy duty plastic freezer bag, throw them back in. And then whenever you need an egg, they're there for you.